S-turns and turns around a point apply the same principles of wind correction to maintain a constant ground track of some kind. The principles are the same for both maneuvers, so we're going to discuss turns around a point and then apply those same principles to S-turns across a road. In turns around a point, the key principle is that when going downwind, you're going faster, so you must turn the airplane more quickly in order to avoid being blown clear of your course and making far too wide of a turn. So downwind requires the steepest bank. The same principles apply to S-turns across a road. Again, downwind requires the steepest bank. However, many students begin by memorizing the key positions on S-turns across a road and then have difficulty when the wind is at a 45-degree angle or some other askew angle to the road, in which these key positions will change depending on the direction of the wind. There are three key positions to be aware of. As mentioned, you need to mentally note where the wind is coming from, or if you have a heading bug, set that heading bug to the direction from which the wind is coming. Then know that if the heading bug is behind you, you have the greatest tailwind and you need the steepest bank angle. The steepest bank angle in this maneuver is 30 degrees. So this simulates a turn from downwind to base in the traffic pattern, where you would in theory need your steepest bank angle to maintain a constant ground track. The next key position is the medium banked turn. Now you need to be in a medium banked turn when the wind is directly across. So whether the crosswind is from the right or from the left, if the heading bug or your mentally noted wind direction is directly to the left or to the right, you need a medium turn. At the beginning, think of a medium turn as about 20 degrees. These bank angles would be adjusted depending on the amount of wind, and once you're able to look outside more during this maneuver, you will be able to compensate automatically and pick the correct bank angle. Finally, the last key position to remember is when the wind is directly ahead of you, your bank needs to be shallow. Think of shallow bank angles at about 10 degrees. So how does this apply in the aircraft? Well, the first thing I need to do is make a mental note or set my heading bug to my wind direction. In this example, the wind is blowing from 45 degrees, so I'm going to set my heading bug to 45 degrees. We enter all of these maneuvers on a downwind, so our steepest bank angle should be at the beginning. But watch how you can simply use the wind direction to determine what bank angle you should be at any given time. So as I begin my turn to the left for my turn around a point, I know that I'm going to need to be at my relatively steepest bank angle of 30 degrees for this maneuver, since the wind is directly on my tail. So I'll roll immediately into a 30-degree bank. Now watch as the wind clocks around to become a crosswind. I need to gradually reduce my bank angle, working my way toward a medium bank, because when the wind is directly from my left, I need to be at a medium bank. Now as the wind clocks around to the front of the aircraft, I can see I will need to be at a shallow bank angle. So at this point, I need to be halfway between a medium and a shallow. Then as the wind comes around to my front, I gradually reduce my bank angle until it is my shallowest. As the wind again begins to clock around to the right, I know I need to steepen my bank angle, working my way toward a medium, because when the wind is directly at my right cross, I need to be at a medium bank. Now the wind is coming around directly to my right, so I need to be at a medium bank angle. As the wind trends toward my tail, I need to be between a medium and a steep, gradually working my way towards steep, so when the wind is directly on my tail, I will be at my steepest bank angle. Now let's apply these same principles to S-turns across a road. As mentioned in the FAA book, if the wind is directly at your tail, your steepest bank will be right immediately after crossing the road. However, what happens if the wind is somehow askew, and you're unable to find a road that's directly perpendicular to the wind? Well, in this case, all of your positions will change, and they change in rather odd ways. In this case, there will be no need for a shallow turn, as you're never pointed directly into the wind. However, there is no need to memorize all alternative key positions. Simply keep the heading indicator in mind and watch for the direction of the wind to determine whether your bank needs to be shallow, medium, or steep. So now, assuming the wind is from 45 degrees, we've chosen a north-south road over which to do S-turns. We're going to enter perpendicular to the road on a westerly heading. However, our wind is askew, so our required bank angles will change and they will not be quite as clear-cut as put forward in the Airplane Flying Handbook. So at this point, if we are about to cross our road, we can look at the direction from which the wind is coming and determine that we are going to need between a medium and a steep bank. And then watch as the wind clocks around to various directions of the aircraft how we can use this method to determine the bank angle needed at any given time. So crossing our road, we're immediately going to enter a medium to steep bank. Now as the wind clocks around behind us, we determine we need a steep bank. As the wind again comes around toward medium, I'm going to work my way toward a medium bank angle. Now that the wind is directly from the left, I need a medium bank angle. And as the wind transitions to a headwind, I will need between a medium and a shallow bank. And suddenly I'm at my road. Again, judging by the position of the wind, I can roll immediately into a medium to shallow bank. As the wind clocks around to the left, I know that I need a medium bank. And as the wind transitions to a tailwind, at this point I need between a medium and a steep bank, transitioning to a steep bank. My road is now coming, so I need between a medium and a steep, and I'll roll out on a heading of west as I cross my road once again.